Hi guys, I've gotten such a response from the Wing Chun videos that I've been posting that I thought I would do a follow-up. The original video, Advanced Wing Chun Punching Techniques, it's a pretty simple video. It's not really that advanced, but the second video that I did, Why People Hate Wing Chun, has gotten a lot of hits and is very popular, and I think it's something that needs to be explored. And I studied Wing Chun back in the 90s, by the way. But there are some techniques that I'd like to go over that I think are very useful. Yet again, I do feel like just the style on its own can be very limiting. But like a lot of things, as you get into the upper levels, you begin to improve. There just seems to be a lot of data that and controversy out there that Wing Chun just doesn't work. I mean, do they ever expect to go to the ground? Do they ever expect to be in a pummeling kind of position, which there is some pummeling in Wing Chun? Because of all the transitions of the hands and the smooth flow of everything. There absolutely is, and I'm sure there's some ground fighting as you get into the deeper things. But there are martial arts that you can be very proficient in 6 months. Of all people, Ken Shamrock was interviewed. He was doing a commentary for the UFC quite a few years ago. And he said, how long does grappling, because grappling just seems to be kind of a generic name for techniques on the ground. Well, you've got to get the person to the ground in some shape or form so you can fight, or you're going to keep them on your feet and you're going to stop the shot. Maybe you're going to box, maybe you're going to do some dirty boxing, maybe you're going to do some linear punching. The main thing in the end is to walk away okay, unless you're doing some kind of sport fight or sport grappling, and that's a whole nother video in itself. But Wing Chun does have some techniques that I really like. For one, the linear punching, because of the shape and the way the body embraces the techniques. Linear punching is very effective, but it's just record blast punching, and maybe that's where Bruce in JKD came up with the straight blast, is because the Wing Chun punching, as you start at point A and you go to point B, there's just this foray of punching that is very fast, and it kind of throws people off guard. And you know, boxing was over here before Bruce came over. He got trained in that when he was a child, I guess, came back over here, and so he'd had all this time where he could perfect adding Wing Chun and various styles of Kung Fu together in more of a no-nonsense, stripped-down kind of way. But the Chai Sao and the Lop Sao and all that stuff, Chai Sao and all that, it's hard to pronounce that stuff, isn't it? I think can be very good at acclimating the forearm and getting the nerves used to being touched and then transitioning into something else. And I think that type of nerve sensitivity is very important. And some of the elbows, and knowing that your elbow can be so brutal in whatever position that it comes over on your opponent, is something of nice recognition. You know, Muay Thai is going to give you that as well, and Muay Thai is going to get you in shape. I mean, it's definitely nothing to play around with, and I've seen fights where a Wing Chun fighter was so abstract that a Muay Thai fighter had a tough time kind of battling that. But you need, you know, if you scrape everything down, you need time on the ground. You need to know what the adrenal dump is when your adrenals dump into your bloodstream, and you need to know how to manage yourself. These are all just natural things that happen. If you get knocked down on the ground and you got somebody on top of you, your body just sounds the alarms. And I think that's one thing that's just not embraced in Wing Chun. That's why you always see Wing Chun accompanied into other styles, because it seems to be an addition to a style and not the style. Yes, there's great techniques in Wing Chun, but I think because, you know, you've got celebrities doing Wing Chun, it's becoming very popular, but I think people miss the point that the origins of self-defense and martial arts are really kind of two different things. Martial arts has kind of become this sport, ego-driven kind of thing, yet self-defense has really maintained what it always was. Somebody's attacking you, you know, get out and leave a casualty behind if that's where the cards fall. And in order to have a sport, you have to trim those things down because people can't be gouging their own eyes out. And Wing Chun was actually developed by a woman, 100, 200 years ago, something like that. And she had a small frame, and that's why you see a lot of the movements of Wing Chun very simplistic. The body almost doesn't move at times. And that's why it really goes for using your best weapons. You know, the point of the hand, the elbow, the closed fist in a linear kind of position. Their guard is even like that when they come in. So there are some good tools in Wing Chun, but I believe it is a complete martial art. I just think it takes so much time, and I've seen a lot of the end results. I think somebody uses Wing Chun very well, but he uses it from a KD perspective is Dan Insanto. I mean, that guy's Wing Chun is fantastic, but he had already studied so many martial arts before he even met Bruce, Kempo Karate under Ed Parker and all these guys. Again, that's not Wing Chun. Somebody needs to get into Wing Chun, start at point A and go all the way to Z and go, I'm on my 9th form of the wooden dummy. And I think the wooden dummy is effective, but I've seen so many people evolve it and say, it's not working for me, you know, this isn't working, I've got to change it. You can only change something so much where pretty soon it's not the original substance. So the 3 techniques from Wing Chun that I really grew to appreciate was the Chai Sao, Lao Sao, and the linear punching. And of course the elbows are brutal. So if you've gone through all the forms, I've gone through most of the forms and studied, you know, unfortunately this stuff was just outdated. Again, I said in my why I think people hate Wing Chun video, one of the reasons is you spend all this time doing forms and you never really get into actual combat. I took a grappling class back in 2000. The first night I was in actual rolling, you know, meets where we were trying submissions, and submissions don't work all the time. But the preface of submissions is that you've got to find out what works, and that's really the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do. So find out what works and stick with that. And again, those are the techniques that I took from Jeet Kune Do that I think are fabulous, and I've got a video on that. So I'll put the links on here, and again, hope you guys are blessed. Have a great night.